Okay, Baruch Hashem, we're back. Perek Daled B'Siyata D'Shmaya. Great to hear some of the great feedback in America from people that are following the Shurim and listening to Shurim and gaining from it. So I'm so excited about that. Enjoying that not only the Olam over here are enjoying, but also other people, Baruch Hashem, around the world. Let's begin. B'Siyata D'Shmaya, Perek Daled. So let's understand a couple of things over here. First of all, like this, Yida asked for a little bit of a recap into what we've been dealing with. Of course, we've discussed Be'ikah, the two neshamas that every Yid has, the Nefesh HaBahamis, Nefesh HaKis, which is very important. We've split it up into different directions. We split it up into 10 spheres as well, to know that, which is important. Now we're going to move on to trying to get a bit more Lamaisa. So after discussing, specifically in Perek Gimel, the 10 koichos that the neshama has, and how everything filters and funnels through seichel, right? Intellect is very important. Everything goes through intellect, and it can move on after that, which is, of course, the Chachma, Bina, Vadas, the first three of the 10 spheres, which we spoke about last time. Over here, the Tanya now specifically wants to discuss that apart from the 10 koichos hanefesh, there are also something called levushim. There are clothings for the soul, which is again something which is very, very talked about in the Hasidic writings. It's something that's spoken about in many, many Kabbalistic Svarim, but the Tanya is going to deal with the clothing of the soul, the clothing of the neshama. One specific idea before we begin, just as an introduction idea, when we have thoughts, is that us? Is that intrinsically who we are? Or is it something outside of us, something separate to us? Right? That's the shaila. Over here, what the Tanya is going to do is going to describe that the thoughts that we have are the clothing of our soul. Just like the clothing clothes our bodies, but we wouldn't say it's intrinsically us, it's not who we are, right? There's a big shaila. Does the clothing define the man or not? There's a Mordecai Das Kenim Balatosos in this week's parasha. And parasha told us that talks about that Agabi Yaakov and Esav with the brachos. But upon him, the idea is that the clothing clothes the guf, the body, so to our machshavas and others, as we're going to get to, clothes our neshama. But it's not actually intrinsically who we are. Okay, let's begin. I'm trying to go a bit slowly. V'oid, yesh l'chol nefesh alekis shloisha levushim. Okay, there are, for every nefesh alekis that every yid has, there are 3 levushim, right? 3 clothings that, again, they're on the outer layer of our neshamas. They're not intrinsically who we are, but they definitely clothe our neshamas. Shehem, what are they? Machshava, dibur, umaisa. Machshava, thought, dibur, speech. Umaisa is, of course, action. Shel, meaning when a person is oisik in, when a person is involved in Tariag mitzvahs haTorah. And we're going to split the next few lines into numbers. Number 1, Ke Shiga Adam Mikayim B'maisa Kol Mitzvahs Maisis. When a person is physically fulfilling the mitzvahs, whether he's eating matzah, shaking a lulav, putting on tefillin, tzitzis, negovas, whatever it may be. Number 2, Ubedibur, right, with speech, Hu Oisik Befeirish Kol Tariag Mitzvahs V'Hilchos Seyen. With speech over here, he's oisik with all the Tariag mitzvahs, v'hilchos seyen over here, which of course is talking about Torah. And number 3, over machshava, with his thoughts, who masig kol ma she'ef shelo lahasig b'pardes haTorah. He tries to comprehend, to understand whatever he's able to from pardes haTorah. Pardes of Torah, of course, referring to the pei, starts with pshat, and then you got remez, then you got drush, then you got soid, which is of course the deepest, the most secret level of the Torah. When you've got all of that happening, then you've got the result is the following: Hare klolus tariag evrei nafshay muluboshim betariag mitzvahs haTorah. That means your entire divine soul, this nefesh alekis, including the 613 sub-components, is completely dressed in the garments of machshava, dibur, and maisa. What we are saying here is that your neshama and the mitzvahs are compatible, which means when you makayim the mitzvahs and you learn the Torah, your koichas hanefesh are clothed in Torah and mitzvahs. It's interesting, by the way, he splits it up into 3, right? We've got machshava, dibur, and maisa, and I would have thought they're talking about different things. I would have thought dibur maybe would have been like, tefillah. Tefillah is dibur, right? But look, Dibur is actually talking about Torah. That means out of the three, the three parts of the three sections that we said 1, 2, and 3, 2 out of the 3 are actually learning Torah, which again is going to be the Tanya's Mahalach about how chashuv it is to learn Torah, right? How very important that is. So that's a very, very important thing what we're discussing over here. Let's continue, and we're going to discuss a lot more Be'ez Hashem as well. So let's continue. So what he says over here now is over Proteus. Let's get more into detail. Let's get more exact. Bechinas Chochma Bina Vadas, which the Tanya has already explained in previous chapters. Everything stems from there, right? The contemplation, the thinking, the thought process starts with Chochma Bina Vadas. Shemanavshai in your neshama, muluboshois b'hasagas ha'toira shu masig b'pardos k'vi yecholtoi of choles hasagaso v'sherish nafshe lemala. Of course, everyone can understand it on a different level. Some people can understand it on a high level. Some people can understand it on a lower level. According to a person's understanding and capabilities, what he's able to chap from pardos ha'toira. V'hamidos sheni yira v'ava. Remember, after you got chachma bina v'das, after you've contemplated the Rabbeinu Shalom, you now have ava and you have yira. V'anfeim, and the branches v'toldoiseyen muluboshos b'kiyam mitzvahs ma'asav dibur Talmud Torah kineged kulam. That means the highest form of speech is, of course, learning Torah, and the greatest expression of love is also learning Torah. So what he's saying is that the panemius of the world of Maisa is Ava and Yira. That's what he's saying over here. And everything stems from that. Why? The next 2 paragraphs we'll do, and then we'll stop. Ki, the explanation. Ki Ava hi shoyrish kol ramach mitzvahs aseh. Ava is the root of ramach mitzvahs aseh. These are the positive commandments. These are mitzvahs like eat matzah, shake lulav, wear tzitzis, wear tefillin, bench, all of these things. Umimena, from there, Heinim Shachos continues and sprouts, or Bal'ada, Einlahem Kiyam Amiti, there's nothing real. Without that, without Ava, without love, there's nothing. Or it's nothing real. Ki'amekaimun be'emes, hu oivas Hashem v'chayfetz ledovkaboy be'emes. Very, very deep statement. He's saying over here that it's this love that brings us close to Hashem. It's the shorish, it's the root of every mitzvah. Say, I want to connect to Hashem. Right? It's almost like if we can, compare it, when a person has a relationship with his spouse, right? You have a wife and you love your wife. Now, if you love your wife, you want to do everything for her. You want to. It's not because, I have to be a good husband, so I have to listen to her. Or, I want something, a favor from her, so I'll do something for her. No. I love her, and therefore I want to do everything for her. So what the Tanya is telling us, when a person has an emestic love for the Rabbeinu Shalom, he wants to do the mitzvahs. I can't wait to put on tefillin. Not because I get anything from putting on tefillin, because the Rabbeinu Shalom, who I love, told me to put on tefillin. So the root of every mitzvah say has to, says the Tanya, if you want it to be emes, you want it to be real, has to come from love. You cannot cling, which is, by the way, is a chiv in the Torah, to cling to Hashem. You cannot do that properly be'emes, with truthfulness, without literally fulfilling the Ratzon Hashem, without doing the mitzvahs, like we will explain later on as well, which we will get to at a different situation. Right? In the Zohar Kodesh, by the way, it brings down that the mitzvahs are called the organs of Hashem. It's a chelik of Hashem, whatever that means on a physical level, we don't understand. But the Zohar tells us that the mitzvahs are organs of Hashem, which means if we want to be connected to Hashem, if we want to have a shaykhus to Hashem, we want to be ladov kaboy, we want to, cling to the Rabbeinu Shalom, the way to do that, and again, it starts with, chachma bina v'das, the contemplation, which leads to love. Once you have love, now you have a real service of Hashem. You have a real avodah Hashem of doing the mitzvahs, not because you have to. You don't want to do things for your wife because you have to. I have to have a good husband, so therefore I'll listen to her. No. Maybe that's at one level that you start with. But the real level should be a level that I want to, because I love her and I want to get closer to her. That's, again, Havdil Elef Avdolis, of course, how everything works with the Rabbeinu Shalom also. One last paragraph. V'hayira, which is, of course, the next stage. He shoyish l'shasa loisaseh. Okay, there are 365 negative commandments. This is don't speak lashon hara, don't look at things you're not meant to do, all the things that you're not meant to do. Right, the shoyish is yira. Ki yorei limroid b'melech malchei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu. A person is, so to speak, fearful. He's scared, right, from rebelling against the Melech Malcham Lachem HaKadosh Baruch Hu over here, because it distances yourself from him. Disobedience, I don't want to do that. Or perhaps a different mahalach, Yira Penimis Mazu, maybe even a more deeper Yira, Shemis Boishesh, Migdulasai, Limrais Eine Kvoidai, Velasas Rabbe Einov, Kol Tavas Hashem Asher Sonehem, Beklipa Sitra Acha Asher, Yini Kosum, Odom Batachto, Vichizosum Boy, Hushasam, Mitzvah Lo Saseh. Meaning, I'm embarrassed. I'm almost embarrassed to do something wrong against Hashem because that's what He wanted me to do. And the Avera comes from, as He describes, the lowest place with all of the bad Sitra Achos and Klippas and whatever it may be, which we're not going to describe because it's not what we need to. But the point is, I don't want to do that against Hashem. Right? My love for Hashem is so great that I want to do what He wants me to do, and I don't want to do what He doesn't want me to do. And where does that stem from? All stems from their contemplation, which leads to Ava, which leads to Yira. And all of this again means that our neshama is becoming, as we said, clothed in everything of the mitzvahs and the Torah. There's a lot more to explain over here, Be'ez Hashem. He's going to go into much more detail, which Be'ez Hashem, B'siyat Shmaya will do tomorrow. Shkoyach.